We're going to transition on that note over to Nicole Bulanda, commercial program manager at Rockwell Automation. Nicole's responsible for designing, budgeting, and executing industry marketing programs. Nicole's strength is organizing people and ideas to improve the way we work, so she loves this role. Nicole is committed to advancing the career of women and serves as the president of the Professional Women's Council Employee Resource Group. And as a registered yoga instructor and a firm believer in the importance of mental health, she offers free yoga classes every Friday to her coworkers. And maybe if you're nice, she'll extend them to you too. So in the spirit of yoga, I'm going to ask everyone now to join me and take a deep breath in through your nose and release it out slowly from your mouth. And Nicole is going to have to teach the rest of the class from here. So Nicole, welcome and take it away. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dana. Thanks for having me on here. And you guys have all been sitting, I'm presuming, for an hour. So stand up a little bit, shake it out a little bit. I see a yoga woo in the chat. Okay, we have time. I'm going to do something really quick, optional, of course. So sitting or standing, hands go out in front of you, palms face up, and I'm going to get up a little higher. Have your elbows like right in by your rib cage. Roll your shoulders up and then back and down your spine. Good. Now widen your hands like you're holding a big, wide tray of margaritas. This is how I remember this pose. Good. And then let your right ear fall over by your right shoulder. Good. I call this skeptical waiter because I didn't know what else to call it. Nod your head like you're saying yes. Good. Bring your head back to center. Take a big breath in and out here first. Good. And then let your other ear fall over by your other shoulder. Keep those elbows pulled in tight by the ribs, shoulders down and back. And then nodding your head yes. Beautiful. Bring your head back up to center. Shake it out. Okay, on to the real things, my friends. So hi, I'm Nicole Bulanda. I'm a program manager at Rockwell Automation. We are a company of engineers, although I am not an engineer by trade, but I still like it here. So we measured a ton of stuff with what we did for our show, and I'm really excited to build on what Gavin was just telling you guys about measuring results. That was, to us, the number one most important thing was to figure out, was this successful? Was this worth our investment? Spoiler alert, it was, but I'll give you details on how we determined that. And it actually changed throughout the process. What we initially thought we wanted to measure, we changed our minds on. So Rockwell Automation hosts this fun event. It is actually fun every year in the fall called Automation Fair. And we've been doing this since 1991. And so just for some giggles, I thought I would show you a really quick look at what it used to look like. Let me share my screen with you. So we always have like fun, whizzy, worry machines. Look at their sweet outfits and hair. That guy's name is Paul Whitney. Oh, look at those super cool computers. Automation Fair is like the coolest, hippest, hottest stuff in tech. And in 1991, this was the coolest, hippest, hottest stuff in tech. So we had a big challenge this year because we had to figure out how are we going to bring that to a digital space for our customers. So our goals for the show were pretty much the same as they always are. Number one was to show off our coolest innovations. Number two, this is our biggest lead gen event of the year, like totally the biggest, far and away. And we get a lot of really good conversations with customers at this where we learn about projects. And then we end up following up and having some really good sales usually. And then third thing that we really wanted out of this was to be able to create something, and this is a new goal, that's reusable. So usually Automation Fair is a one and done. We have our 3 days of fun and then we move on and we start planning for next year's Automation Fair, like the week after. But this year we had a really unique experience to reuse what we worked on in the future. So it wasn't a one and done experience, tons and tons of work and investment. And then you start all the way over. Now we get to continue using it. So let me tell you about what we built. We ended up using Intrado as our platform. And then all these vendors were chosen before I got involved. And then Kaon was our virtual exhibit space vendor. And we worked with them to build a lot of content into this experience. And I'm the mining metals and cement marketing person here. I'm not in charge of all events at all, but I spoke up early on in this because we originally were planning to recreate our virtual show floor from the San Diego venue that we were supposed to have the event at, that we were no longer going to. And I think Gavin kind of mentioned this. That's how a lot of companies have been going about this, is they're recreating a trade show experience for customers virtually. And I just really don't like that idea. No offense if you've done it, it's okay. But I think about, like, if I'm at a trade show as a customer, I never know where things are. I'm always like looking up at the ceiling, trying to figure out where I'm at and what booth I want to go to. And I'm usually asking people for directions, or I have a map or some sort of context on what to do. But this event, folks would be coming to solo from their homes without someone guiding them through it. So we needed to make it as intuitive as we possibly could. And also, we wanted it to be reusable. And having it be the San Diego Convention Center was not really super reusable for us. We wanted to make it more meaningful. So we built 3 exhibit locations at home in our Milwaukee headquarters office. So we have this super cool, here, let me pull it up for you. We'll enter the experience. You'll be able to see some videos. We have a very well-known building in Milwaukee. It has this is our only claim to fame, guys, the world's second largest 4-sided clock tower that's operational. There's like a lot of qualifiers, but it actually is really cool. Here's a picture of it. And so we've been in this building since ages. I think since 1903, this building was built and it's been ours. And it's just very meaningful to us and our customers. It's 2 city blocks big. We used to do all our manufacturing here. So we built out 3 spaces inside this building this year that would be our show floor, instead of building out the San Diego Convention Hall. So let me take you through really quick the 3 spaces that we built. So we built our digital engineering hall, and this was an existing customer experience center that we had started on our 8th floor, which is our top floor of the building, the one with all these cool windows here. This is the highest level of our story. This is like, why come in here? What do we do as a company? The highest level marketing message. And a lot of our communications had people start here. The second layer that we'll take a look at, we call digital thread experience. And this is a cool recent build. We have our own contactor line. So we sell contactors, which is a piece of electrical equipment. And we build this line in our office, in our headquarters, and we use all of our own technology to automate it and make it awesome, just kind of like as a showcase for customers. So that's what's on the 7th floor. And then down on the 4th floor, we built a brand new space. We finished off a warehouse that was down there, added HVAC and like put floors in, made it look really cool. And this was what you would normally see at a trade show for us at Automation Fair. It's our products and our solutions, the lowest level of the customer journey, closest to the point of sale. So let's take a quick look. As you enter each space, we really liked, so first of all, Can is really interesting with design. We were super pleased with what they did. I don't know if you saw that cutout. I kind of clicked past it quickly, but it looked like you were peeking into the space, which we loved. And then every space has a video when you first come in explaining what you can expect to see in the space. We liked that we were able to give people some context on what would be in here. And then this is where the grunt of the work began. So for each of our 3 spaces, we came in with a 3D camera and we took photos of the whole space. So you can like click around and look at the whole space. And then we decided what our stops would be. So in this space, I will open our little map. We made 6 different stops. And at each stop, we have content. And we called these pieces of content our hotspots within the stops. And those are kind of like the layers of the experience. Customers can go to the stop, go to the hotspot, and then there's a piece of content for each hotspot that they can click on for more information. Sometimes it's a video, sometimes it's a PDF. We have a couple that are HTML interactive files. Lots of different ways for them to learn about our different offerings. And then in every space we have, you've probably seen this because it pops up if you're static for a while, this get in touch with the experts. So we had live Zoom meetings staffed during the week of Automation Fair. People like me just chilling in the Zoom meeting, just hoping that some customer would click on, get in touch with the experts and come in and chat with us. I'm going to give you the honest truth here. Something that we learned quickly was that the barrier for a customer in an in-person event to just walk up and say hey to you at a booth is very much less than the barrier for a virtual event. Like David said, a virtual event is actually way more intimate than you would expect it to be. So for somebody sitting at home at their desk, maybe on their couch, who knows, in their jammies, to click this, open up a Zoom video chat with us, that was a big hurdle to take. So we had to do some things to help promote this and make this feel like less of a scary hump for our customers. A lot of those we did in the UI with help from Kayan, which was really awesome. They were lightning fast with like making changes and suggesting stuff in real time during the event, which was cool. And then we also did some promotions. So I went into the office and I recorded a social walkthrough of the space that we posted on all our channels. And I kept mentioning like, click this button, come say hi to me and my friends. And like, it's just us at Rockwell, also at home in our pajamas, and just trying to lower that entry barrier a little bit. And that did help a lot. Okay, so this is the upstairs space. I'm gonna go back home really quick to the main event, and I'll show you our digital thread experience. So this one is really neat. It's an actual running line, and here's the intro video. I'm muting it because it's me and it's weird. But I explain what you can expect to find in this space for context as they enter. You only see it the first time. And then this is an actual line. We normally have this staffed with human beings running it. We made them clear out for the 3D photos, but you can go around and like look at all of our tools as they're actually being used in a real example, and super important for our customers. I think what's most difficult for our customers is visualizing what our stuff looks like when it comes together, because it's so different from what they're currently doing. So for us to be able to give a visual example of what it looks like was a very big deal for us. And then same thing in here. Every step you can go in, dive down, get as much information as you want to. We didn't send anybody directly to this experience. However, we found many, many people came in here directly on their own. Something else Gavin said, we didn't control their journey in here. And that scared us as an engineering company. We wanted to control, A, B, C, D, E, buy, but that is not how it went in here. Folks came in, they clicked on what interested them, they went deeper on the areas that interested them, and then there may have been some areas they never went to at all. And we had to kind of wrap our heads around that and what that meant with their behavior when creating leads. And I'll talk more about leads in a second. And then this is our final space, a brand new build that we did, where we have what we would historically show on the show floor of our Automation Fair events. And now we have a reusable customer center that we can use in person. And of course, this event can still be used ongoing as well for any sort of tours too. So again, I'll get to this more in a second. We're trying to figure out how this space plays into the 2021 space too, because we are now beginning to plan 2021 Automation Fair, which will be in person or hybrid. We're still figuring it out. So really quick, three locations, 27 stops, 174 hotspots. And it was actually 1,300 pieces of content. I can tell you that because I had to organize them all. It's a big undertaking, but it was a very cool thing to pull together as a company. And for us, it's an invaluable tool moving forward for sales training, for marketing, and for customer briefings and stuff. So completely worth the work. So how do we do on our goals? Goal one was to give everybody a chance to see about our latest innovations. Ding, ding, ding. We are very happy with how this went. Almost 25,000 people have come into the event to date. We ran it as a live event for 1 week in November, and then it's still ongoing on demand until June. So 25,000 attendees, what? That's crazy to us. We see at our best event in Chicago, 15,000 has been the top we've ever seen. So that was a really big deal. Also a really exciting big deal was how global it was. This is normally something that we get a lot of North America folks for, maybe some Latin America folks. Barely anybody comes from overseas though. Not the case this year. We had a very, very global audience, 107 different countries represented from all over the world. It was so cool. I actually had to Google how many countries are there in the world because I was curious how we did on a percentage wise, and I'm pretty happy with how we did. 2,000 engagement hours. So this is, Gavin was mentioning this in his stats for the last one when someone asked on stats. This was really important to us. Okay, if 25,000 people come, that's cool. But if they're not staying, if they're not engaging, if they're not digging in and learning, this is way more than a website. It's not just get them to the site. It's okay if they bounce kind of fast. This is, they need to dig in. Otherwise, we haven't built something successful. So we found that a third of people were in the site engaged, so actually clicking, between 3 and 33 minutes. So we were very happy with that. Very good. Okay, goal 2. This is where the money comes in. So this is where all of our leadership was very interested to hear how we did. And these are our numbers from the week of the show. And also from the on-demand experience as well that we've been running. So for you guys, context-wise, about 3,000 leads is pretty spot on. That's what we normally like to see from this show. This is a little low, the sales qualified leads of 581. It's usually a bit higher than that for us. It's usually closer to 1,000 because 1 in 3 people that we see at the show, that's our right audience. Usually we get qualified. So we did come in a little bit lower on that. And our rationale was the barrier for customers to jump in and have conversations with us with a virtual event. Despite all the stuff we put in place, it's just a different experience. It's a very different experience. So in addition to talking to an expert to qualify as a lead, we also put in place a behavior lead system that took a look at how long were they in the experience, how many of our sessions did they go to. We also had a whole set of sessions and trainings that were part of this, and if they had downloaded anything, and that would turn them into a behavior lead as well. So overall, our numbers are doing pretty great. They continue to grow. And we have added in this AFAH playlist, Automation Fair at Home playlist is our ongoing effort. So we took some of our sessions from the show and we've been translating those and promoting those globally. And we also made some sales scripts for people to come in and give tours of the event too. So those are where those leads are coming from as well. And then the last goal, make something lasting. So this, I think, is probably where we are the most excited and where we still have the most to learn. This was extremely well received. The customer tours, we went through and gave them and I did this for media too, we gave them a curated look at what we thought they would be most interested in seeing for stops, sent them some follow-up. It went really, really well. We had a lot of good conversations out of those. So like I just said, we have made some scripts for sales. We're pushing sales to do as many of these as they can with their customers. This seems to be our golden ticket, are these curated tours of the event where you're in there hand in hand with somebody else. The independent experience was also great, but it was tougher for us to capture from our side what the customer was gaining from that. When we do it ourselves, we get to have those conversations. And so this is absolutely something that we plan to continue doing indefinitely now that we have this built out, can continue adding to it and updating it, and continue making these tours happen. So I will be turning it over to someone who can tell us more about hybrid events, which I'm actually really excited to learn about because this is where we're going next, is we're all kind of, I wouldn't say scratching our heads necessarily, but we're wondering, now what? We have this really cool virtual space. We know we want to come back to some of the in-person as well. How do we get these to play together as best as we can? So I'm really excited to hear our next presentation. And Dana, thank you so much, Kian. Thank you so much for letting me share this today.
Are you kidding us? Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate it so much. We do have a couple QA questions that came in for you. Jen, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nicole. Liz has asked, what was your deciding factor in selecting your virtual event platform provider? So I'm assuming that references Intrado.
Yeah, so I was blissfully outside of that process, but we did have a very serious process going on for determining that. Ultimately, we picked Intrado because of familiarity, honestly. We have used them for webinars as our webinar platform for the last several years. We know how their statistics work. Every platform, though, is going to have some pros and some cons. So just being aware of those when you first go in is really important. I think we learned a lot as we were building with our Intrado platform that we wished we would have known at the past. I'm sure it would have been like that with any platform. But the more you can learn upfront about what's worked for folks and what hasn't, the better. So ask to talk to their customers, ask how what they built worked and what didn't work and what they liked and didn't like. I would recommend that. Hope that helps.
Perfect. We also did get a note from Ben in chat. He said, we've seen the virtual booth visitors tend to flee when they're faced with live chat.
Oh
Did
my
you see
gosh,
the
they
same thing?
panic. They literally panic. Ben, you are spot on. Yes, we would see them come in. Their cameras, initially we had set to turn on, which was just so cruel of us. So their camera would turn on. We would see them go like this. And then bloop, out they would go of the event. So immediately we turned off their camera on entry. That was mean. We didn't mean to do that. But yeah, it's just such a hurdle. I mean, think about it. You're probably in your jammies, probably eating, you know, like I just sit at my desk and eat all day, to all of a sudden be in a video chat and you don't know who's going to be on the other end. That is a very big psychological jump. So that's something that when we use this event moving forward, we're going to figure out how to make that a little smoother. And I did see a comment too about price point. I don't know. I don't get to budget that kind of budget. I just do my commercial plans. So apologies, I can't answer that one. I just
And we
don't
can
know.
reach out if someone's interested after the fact too about pay on platform pricing and experiences. So we'll do that.